So Chelsea are getting ready to defend their title of Champions of Europe. And do you know what? It's going to be tasty. Stick around. Hello friends and welcome back to the Blue Pride of London. I'm so happy that you have tuned in today. I am your host Nathan and it's an absolute pleasure to see all of you. I'm going to ask you now, if you haven't yet already, to hit that subscribe button if the feeling takes you, and at any point that you enjoy this video, please hit the like button because it does help out the channel and help us sort of like raise our game on YouTube. So yeah, please subscribe and hit the like button at any point. Thank you so much, really appreciate it. So going into this video, we are going to be talking about the Champions League draw, the group stages, and it looks very, very tasty going into it. And there are some lovely looking fixtures coming up in the Champions League as well, just in the group stages alone. But before we get started, I want to say a huge congratulations to Jorginho. He won the Player of the Season last year. Obviously, he won the Champions League, the Super Cup, and obviously the European Cup with Italy. So well done to you. Thomas Tuchel also took home the Manager of the Season because of his sensational work as Chelsea manager, leading us to Champions League glory. And Mendy and Kante taking home their sort of best goalkeeper, best midfielder rewards as well. Congratulations. It looks good to see Chelsea players up there amongst the elite once more. But let's get into the group stages and let's have a look at what Chelsea are up against. So going into the draw, Chelsea were, of course, in pot number one, being the current holders of the Champions League, which sometimes would have meant that, we avoid any of the big teams. But with the way that Europe's been going recently, we still had a few hiccups. I think there was a potential that we could have gone against Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, and we eventually got Juventus being probably the toughest game within our group. Also in our group, we have Ziyech, which is a Russian team, and then we've got Malmo, which is from Sweden. So we've got a little bit of travelling to do within our group stages. But overall, I think it's quite a nice, easy group. We start our defence on the sort of match day one is the 14th or the 15th of September. Not entirely too sure who we're up against at the moment. I did try to have a bit of a look, but I don't quite think those fixtures have been done as yet. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But looking at our group overall, I'm very, very happy with it. I think we've definitely got sort of like wins home and away against Ziyech and Malmo. Now, Juventus would have been, in my opinion, quite a difficult game overall, home and away. Obviously, it is always difficult to go to Italy. Their fans are very, very loud. But it was also the mouth-watering time to go up against Ronaldo once again. But coming out of the presses yesterday, he has announced that he wants to leave. There's a possibility he's going to go to Paris Saint-Germain, or there's even a possibility he might be going to Man City, which would just be insane to think about considering what a United legend he actually is. So if Ronaldo do in fact leave Juventus, what does that mean for their team? Like, that's their best player as far as I'm concerned. He is the sort of like the big money, the trophy in their team. So if they can keep hold of him, I think Juventus will definitely be a more difficult game going forward. But if they can't keep hold of Ronaldo, if he wants to try a challenge elsewhere and maybe sort of take Lukaku's sort of like final overall most expensive player, that's probably something that he's looking at as well. Because that's not fair. I'm the best player in the world. I should be the most expensive player throughout the whole. But do you know what? It just shows how good Lukaku has been going up, because his price has just been going up and up and up, where Ronaldo's just been going down and down and down. So maybe the gauntlet has in fact been passed. But guys, I'm very interested to see what you think of the draw. So please type in your comments below. But having a little bit of a look at the group stages overall, there are some very, very tasty fixtures coming up and two potential groups of death. So looking at Group A, Man City atop that group, and they've got a very, very tasty game against Paris Saint-Germain. That is probably the big money game of that particular tie, of that particular group, and maybe of that particular entire sort of like group stages overall. It's the big money spenders of both Paris Saint-Germain, who might or might not still keep hold of some of their good players, It does sound like that they might be doing a last bid for Haaland as well. So there's all sorts of things going on there. But their other two games, they're not necessarily sort of that overgoing. But Group B looks extremely sort of dangerous for Liverpool. So out of these so-called groups of death, I would probably say Group B is probably the worst. Liverpool were in the second pot, and Atletico Madrid was there in pot number A, or pot number one. Pot number one, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. So yeah, they're up against Atletico Madrid, which is always a difficult game. Chelsea have been up against them quite often. But you've also got the first time in, I think, about 6 years, AC Milan are now back amongst the elite table of the Champions League. So maybe they're going to try their best to sort of run at this, like take it by both handles and say, do you know what? If we get knocked out quite earlier on, who cares? But at least we can go out in a bit of a bang. So Groups A and Group B's look very, very potential to be sort of like the most interesting groups going forward. But with our group, I can't see us anything but top our group. Maybe with a 100% win record. That would be lovely. But, as we all do know, everyone's going to want to try to beat Chelsea to show that when we won it last season, it was an overall fluke. And, but we have boasted our side. We've made our side better. At the time of recording, we've still only signed the two players, Lukaku and our goalkeeper. Can't remember his name right now. I might just sort of pop it up here at some point. But we are still trying to get another midfielder and a defender to sort of boost our sort of roster a little bit going forward. But guys, I would like to hear what you think of these potential games. Do you see any upsets for Chelsea? Is your mouth watering by the prospect of this Champions League defence? And yeah, you guys enjoy the football, and I will see you later on. Goodbye.